One zombies mode that I would have liked to see implemented in Black Ops 4, and which certainly has potential to return down the line, is Grief mode. By a lot of people's standards, Grief from Black Ops 2 was considered a flop. I think it was pretty good, and if played under certain settings, it was kinda great. I mean, it's evident by how much I've played it recently. I think fans would be a lot more receptive to a Grief mode nowadays, as a lot has changed since the mode was released over 6 years ago in November 2012. There has been an increased interest in competitive gaming. Modern consoles have HD screenshotting, recording, and streaming capabilities, which would allow players to stream tournaments, resolve disputes on wager sites, and help them easily record clips for montages and highlight videos. Back in Black Ops 2, not many people had recording devices, so players were limited to using the theater mode if they wanted to assemble clips for a montage or something like that. And theater mode certainly had its shortcomings. I mean, you literally had to buy a microtransaction if you wanted to have decent storage for theater mode. Like, why was that a thing? Grief is a mode that is very replayable given that you're pitted against other players. The only other mode like that is Turned, I guess. People like to use the term dead game for everything nowadays, but I think it's safe to say that Turned is literally dead. Anyways, Grief is a game mode where players will undoubtedly discover new tactics and improve their skills over time, which encourages the player to play as much as possible and avoid falling behind the curve. Grief games are also super short as well, unless you're playing Town or Cell Block and facing clowns who camp with pack-a-punch weapons. When it comes to public lobbies, Cell Block was actually pretty decent since there was no Juggernog. While public games could be fun at times, it's not the experience I personally enjoyed from Grief. I think Grief mode works best as a competitive mode when it is bare bones. So, for the rest of the video, I'll be speaking from the perspective of a quote-unquote hardcore Grief player, which traditionally entails the custom game rule sets of round 15 no magic on farm, and round 20 magic, but no mystery box or pack-a-punch on town. I know, a lot of qualifiers, but those are generally accepted as the best ways to play those maps.
I just knife lunged, dude! Dude! I knife lunged! That's stupid! You should be freaking dead! Oh my god, dude, he's so lucky! That's funny!
The introduction of the custom mutations feature in Black Ops 4 would actually allow for a lot of customizable options that would cater to the competitive community on Grief. Players could fine-tune certain settings and remove features like the mystery box, equipment, or a perk like double tap by simply going through the options, rather than having a gentleman's agreement before the game. You could have one standardized rule set that's easy to abide by. While the Black Ops 4 mechanics and player movement don't seem exactly ideal for Grief, I think it's a bit unfair to dismiss Grief's compatibility with BO4 unless we actually saw how it plays out. I think that Grief could have benefited from more variety when it came to the wall and melee weapons. On Town and Farm, there's only the MP5 and Olympia on the walls, and players will always choose the MP5 over the shotgun, so introducing a new, more balanced system would be necessary. For instance, the shotgun wall weapon could have a greater stun impact against opponents, but would not be great against zombies and only has a few pellets before a reload is necessary. You could also add an assault rifle which is effective against zombies but makes you move a knife slower. There could even be a rocket launcher or something which is expensive to purchase and has limited ammo, but allows you to shoot enemies off a revive or something crazy like that. In my view, more variety for weapons equals greater strategy, but having too many options like the mystery box would create redundancy. Same idea for the knife. Certain melee weapons would have greater stun impact, some would be more effective against zombies, kinda like the Galvanuckles in Town, and some would knife quicker but have less stun impact, etc. The past couple of Black Ops games have a focus on specialists, so throw them in Grief too, why the hell not? Making sure that they are extremely balanced and maybe forcing each player in a single team to choose a unique specialist would be crucial, but I could see it being fun and adding an extra layer of strategy to the game. Like, maybe one specialist is a medic and has 30% faster revive times. Then another specialist could have an EMP grenade that recharges after a few minutes of use, and that could disable certain buyables. A third specialist could have a grapple gun. Imagine someone is going up the stairs on farm to buy ammo, and then you grapple up the house, and get to the staircase first and block him from entry into the room. A final specialist could have razor wire and a barricade. I could see Reflex laying down a barricade in front of the fridge, marking his territory. I'll go over a few reasons why I think a Grief mode, or some form of 4v4 competitive zombies, is likely to come back in the foreseeable future. It's no secret that Jason Blundell, current Zombies director, was never the biggest fan of Grief. However, in an interview from September 2018, he made mention of Grief and how it would only come back if he finds ways to improve the mode to the point where he's happy with it, and stated that the process of doing so is, quote-unquote, still an ongoing thought. Personally, I think that it's good that he's taking his time and not shoving modes into the game that aren't polished or fun. I mean, look at Zombie Rush in Black Ops 4. The mode is kinda like if DOA and Grief had a baby, which was dropped on its head. There are a few other signs that point towards Grief returning at some point in the future. Shortly before Black Ops 4's launch, players on PC found code in the game that read Z Grief, so maybe they were prototyping the mode, or it could just be code for something else. There were also recent leaks on Twitter about Grief being included for some of the maps when they release another remastered DLC in the future, which would probably release in mid to late 2020. Additionally, a couple months into BO4's launch, the infamous disgruntled QA tester leak occurred, where he claimed that a 4v4 mode was allegedly being tested and might be released down the line. But they were apparently having issues with the game's stability with 8 players on a zombies map, which seems odd. He then specifically called this mode Grief though, so I think it's very possible that we get a 4v4 competitive mode similar to it, but with some different rules and a new name to differentiate itself from the negative connotation that Grief possibly carries in some people's minds. If they did bring back Grief, it would be cool to have an in-game ranking system, something like League Play, and then there could even be in-game tournaments held occasionally. You don't need the ranking systems or rewards to be too complex, as Grief obviously has a very niche appeal, especially with AI being on the map. It certainly doesn't have the potential anywhere close to other competitive games, I fully understand that. But imagine if the community held a massive online qualifier tournament, held over the course of a week or so, and then the top 4 teams are flown into Zombies World Championship 3 or some other live event. Then you would finally have a competitive Zombies game being showcased at a live venue. While they could be fun at times, Easter eggs and first room challenges are not inherently competitive. They are first and foremost cooperative. With Grief, the spectating experience would be a lot more enjoyable too, as there would always be almost constant action. Games are shorter, and the players are actually pitted against each other. You could also have in-game comms with the players, and while you're at it, cut my boy Zeratul DT a nice paycheck and bring him in for color commentary. Have Mr. Raffle Waffles did the play-by-play, and okay, I'll even come along and be the lead broadcasting director too. In between rounds, you interview players and ask them about their thought process for a key revive, or maybe their general strategy for the round. Like, in between rounds, you interview Zom Destroyer, and he's like, oh man, I tossed Reflex like a ragdoll. He didn't even stand a chance. Get good, Reflex. You're not even good at the game. I can't give away too many of my $1 million ideas for free, so I guess I'll have to stop the video right here. Let me know your thoughts on a potential Grief mode returning down the line, even if it's not for Black Ops 4. What would you like to see out of it? Oh, and thanks to the 287 of you who participated in my recent Twitter poll. You sure know how to pick 'em.